My name is Sophia at 33. I thought I finally had my moment. Teaching third graders in Boston had taught me patience. But nothing could have prepared me for what my sister, Camila, would do at my engagement party. From the outside, it seemed like a perfect evening, intimate, joyous, and filled with the people I loved. My parents, my best friends, Jason's family, and our close circle of colleagues. It was supposed to be a celebration of love and commitment, a night to kick off the rest of my life. But of course, nothing ever seemed to go according to plan when it came to Camila. She always needed to be the center of attention, and tonight it was no different. When she stood up during the toasts, her hand on her stomach and a smirk on her face, I felt the ground shift beneath me. The words she spoke, simple and smug, made it clear that she had been waiting for this moment to hijack mine. "We're expecting," she announced, pausing dramatically as everyone around the room took a collective breath. "And Luke and I are also engaged." Froze. My engagement, my moment, had been eclipsed again. The room erupted in applause, everyone flocking to her, asking questions about the baby, the wedding plans. It felt like a cruel joke, but Camila played it off with a smirk. "Sorry, guess I stole the spotlight again," she added with that familiar gleam in her eye. Something inside me broke. All my life, I had been the one to step aside, to smile, to accommodate her. But not tonight. Not anymore. For the first time, I felt a fire inside me that I didn't know I had. I was tired of being the one who always forgave, who always understood, who always stayed silent. This moment wasn't about her. It was about me. And for once, I wasn't going to let her take that from me. Growing up with Camila was like living in the shadow of someone who could never have enough attention. Though I was the older sister, it always seemed like she was the one who shone brightest. It was a pattern that started when we were young. I remember being 7, working tirelessly on my drawing for the school art contest. I stayed up late, perfecting every detail of my underwater scene. When I won second place, I felt on top of the world. But my parents' focus quickly shifted when Camila suddenly claimed to feel sick. They rushed her home, and my moment, my victory, was reduced to a second-hand memory. It was just the beginning. In every achievement, big or small, Camila had a way of making it about her. Whether it was tripping during my lead performance in the 4th grade play or making a scene at my piano recital so that my parents would miss my performance, she always found a way to redirect the attention. And no one ever seemed to notice. Dad, an attorney, and Mom, a pediatric nurse, were loving parents, but their demanding careers left them distracted. Camila's spirited nature was always praised, while I was often the responsible one, the one they never had to worry about. So why change? Why would Camila stop getting the attention she wanted when she could always rely on her dramatic antics? As we grew older, this pattern never stopped. I went to college in Boston, hoping to escape it all. I found my calling in teaching, built meaningful relationships, and finally had a space where I could shine without the constant overshadowing of my sister. But even then, Camila's presence loomed large. She pursued a career in public relations, mingling with influencers, showing off her glamorous life on Instagram, while I spent my days in a cozy apartment, preparing lesson plans for my 3rd grade class. Still, I tried to maintain some semblance of a relationship with her. I celebrated her successes, comforted her when things went wrong, and hoped that one day, she would see me as more than just the background player in her story. But the truth was, no matter how hard I tried, the rivalry between us never disappeared. It was always there, bubbling beneath the surface, waiting for a chance to resurface. When Jason came into my life, I thought things were finally changing. He was kind, thoughtful, and most importantly, he made me feel seen. We met at an educational technology conference in Boston, and I felt a connection from the moment we started talking about our mutual passion for education. Over time, our relationship deepened, and I began to think that maybe I had finally found someone who truly understood me. We moved in together, decorated our apartment, and established routines that made me feel grounded. Our relationship was steady, supportive, and full of promise. It felt like for once, I could truly celebrate something good in my life. When Jason proposed to me during a romantic trip to Cape Cod, I was overjoyed. It was the culmination of everything I had dreamed of. But then came the engagement party. And that's when Camila did what she always did: steal the spotlight. Her announcement at my party, her smirk as she apologized for stealing my moment, felt like the final straw. It was as if all the years of my sister's behavior had led to this moment when I would finally have the courage to stand up for myself. Jason was furious, and so was I. But I didn't know what to do with the anger. For so long I had let her take what was mine. I had always been the one to smile, to apologize, to give in. But now I realized I didn't have to do that anymore. The days after the engagement party were filled with confusion and anger. I couldn't believe how easily Camila had taken my moment. But as much as I was hurt, something else bubbled up inside me, something I hadn't felt in years: a sense of empowerment. I spent the next few days thinking about what had happened. I spoke to Jason about the years of history between me and Camila, and he listened patiently, offering support and perspective. But as the days passed, something shifted in me. I realized that the pain I felt wasn't just about the engagement party. It was about all the years I had spent in Camila's shadow, forgiving her for things I should have never accepted. Jason was right. Family dynamics can change, but only if you're willing to stand up for yourself. So I made a decision. I would stop accommodating Camila. I would stop being the one who always stepped back. And I would make sure that my wedding day, the most important day of my life, was about me and Jason, not about my sister. The decision wasn't easy. I had to confront my parents, explain why I had chosen to change the wedding plans, and face the fallout. It was hard, but for the first time in my life I felt like I was doing what was right for me. I opted for a destination wedding in Hawaii. A small, intimate ceremony with only our closest friends and family. When the invitations went out with the adults-only policy, Camila was furious. But instead of backing down, I held my ground. When the wedding day arrived, it was everything I had dreamed of. Surrounded by people who truly supported us, Jason and I exchanged vows on the warm sands of Maui, our love shining brighter than any spotlight Camila could have stolen. My parents attended, and for the first time I felt like they understood. They had seen the pattern, and they were finally acknowledging it. As the sun set over the beach, I realized that I had broken the cycle. I had set a boundary, and in doing so, I had reclaimed my space. No longer was I the sister who stepped aside. I was Artemis, finally standing in the light of my own life, proud and free. The days after the engagement party were filled with a mix of overwhelming emotions: hurt, anger, and an unfamiliar but powerful sense of determination. Camila had, once again, taken my moment. But something had shifted inside me. For the first time, I didn't want to be the understanding sister who always forgave. I had always stepped back, but now I realized that I had the right to claim space for myself, especially on such an important day. I took a few days to gather my thoughts. Jason was supportive, but I could tell he was frustrated by the whole situation. "You can't keep letting her do this," he said one evening while we were sitting on the couch. "It's not healthy, Sophia." "I know," I replied, feeling the weight of his words. "It's just, I've always been the bigger person. The one who forgives, who lets it slide. But it's not working anymore. It's affecting everything." He nodded in understanding. "It's about time you set boundaries. You deserve to have your moments too, without her undermining them." I knew what I had to do. I had to stop being the silent observer in my own life. For years, I had allowed Camila's need for attention to overshadow my own achievements, my own happiness. I needed to draw a line, especially when it came to my wedding. It was my day, and I wasn't going to let anyone, especially Camila, take that from me. The first step was talking to my parents. I needed them to understand the full extent of the emotional toll this had taken on me over the years. I called my mother the next morning, knowing the conversation would be difficult. "Mom, can we talk about something important?" I asked when she picked up. "It's about the wedding and what happened at the engagement party." There was a pause on the other end. "Of course, honey. What's going on?" I took a deep breath. "I need to be honest. I'm hurt by what Camila did at the party. She hijacked our celebration and made it about her again. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of always being the one to step aside for her. It's not just a one-time thing, Mom. It's a pattern that's been going on my whole life. There was a long silence before my mother responded. I had no idea you felt this way, Sophia. I always thought Camila was just being Camila. That's exactly the problem, Mom. She's always been allowed to be Camila, and I've always been expected to tolerate it. But not anymore. After a long discussion, my mother agreed to hear me out. We'll talk to your father. But you have to know that we don't want to take sides. We love both of you. That was the first step. It wasn't going to be easy, but I felt a small sense of relief knowing that I was finally standing up for myself. The decision to change the wedding plans wasn't an easy one. It was hard to let go of the traditional idea of a big, family-filled celebration. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the big wedding wasn't what I wanted. It was what my parents and Camila expected. It was time to stop living according to other people's expectations. Jason and I talked about it extensively over the next few days. We discussed the type of wedding we wanted, something small, intimate, and focused on the two of us. The more we talked about it, the more excited I became. A destination wedding in Hawaii was the perfect way to start our married life without the drama and competition. We began to plan. I found the perfect venue, a sunset ceremony on a beach in Maui. The resort offered an intimate setting with just 30 guests, the closest family and friends. The thought of it made my heart flutter. It would be a day for us, a day without distractions or anyone trying to steal the spotlight. But the most difficult part was the adults-only policy. I knew that would cause a stir with my parents, especially Camila. The idea of excluding her from the wedding was something I had been avoiding for years. But this time, I wasn't going to shy away from setting boundaries. I think we should go for it, Jason said one evening as we sat on the couch. It's your day too, and you deserve to have it exactly how you want. I nodded, feeling the weight of the decision settle in. I need to stop apologizing for wanting to be happy. I've spent so many years accommodating Camila's needs that I forgot about my own. Jason smiled at me, his support unwavering. Then let's do it. Let's make this day about us. We sent out the save-the-date cards, a simple digital design with a message. Join us for our destination wedding at Sunset Beach Resort, Hawaii. Adults only, no exceptions. I hit send, feeling both a sense of liberation and anxiety. This was it. The line had been drawn. It didn't take long for the consequences to start rolling in. The first response was from Camila. I knew it was coming, and I braced myself for the storm. When I saw her name on my phone screen, my heart raced. What the hell is this? She demanded the moment I answered. Adults only. You're seriously excluding me from your wedding. Kept my voice calm. It's not just about you, Camila. It's about what's best for us. Jason and I want an intimate ceremony, and we've decided that we want it to be adults only. Don't give me that crap, she snapped. This is just another way for you to punish me. You've always been jealous of me, Sophia. Always. I closed my eyes, feeling the familiar sting of her words. But this time I didn't let it get to me. This isn't about jealousy, Camila. This is about respect. You chose to announce your pregnancy at our engagement party. You chose to make it about you, and I'm done letting you do that. There was a silence on the other end, followed by a defensive scoff. You think you can just exclude me because you're getting married? Fine. But don't expect me to forgive you when this blows up in your face. I didn't respond. Instead, I ended the call and set my phone down, feeling a sense of relief. For the first time, I had stood up for myself without apologizing. I had taken control of my own life, and I wasn't going to let anyone, including Camila, take that from me. The next day, I received an email from my parents, asking for a family meeting. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was ready. This was my decision, and I wasn't backing down.